Hello viewers, this is Dr. Rajul Dutt. This is in continuation to my earlier two videos pertaining to the topic marketing information and research. Today I'm going to discuss in this session about the process of marketing research. With the constant change being the norm in marketing and business, one thing remains the same is the need for marketing research. Marketing research, therefore, is a helpful tool for organizations to better identify marketing strategies and evaluate business decisions using data. Marketing research, thus, the process is the backbone of informed business and marketing decisions. But ironically, the various studies suggest that most of the business organizations they cut marketing research from their marketing budget because of high time consumed and it's expensive and other related reasons. This I have discussed in my last video that these time taken in the research is more, the investment is more, and therefore most of the companies, most of the business organizations, they do not consider marketing research to be an important aspect. Nonetheless, let's review the various steps involved in the marketing research. Now, if I go through it, before I start with the research process, the basic fundamental where as to how do I have given the process of marketing research with the examples and hypothetical example I have taken as to how does this research goes down, how do we come to the various aspects related with the each step. So therefore the funneling process, for example, we know that the broad areas in a business organizations consist of four major departments, four major components, that is the marketing, finance, HR, and production. Now, if we focus into marketing, because it is marketing research, the research is pertaining to the marketing area. And therefore, when we talk about marketing, there are four P's. With the help of these four P's, we design a strategy, we make a strategy by making a combination of these four P's. So this broadly we call it in marketing terms as the marketing mix. So the first is product, price, place, and promotion. Now, this is the how to identify and formulate one of the problem. I mean, if it is a problem and we can also mention about an opportunity, both the things they are lying in the environment, in the external environment, as to what are the problems related maybe to the internal to the organizations, opportunity lays outside the organization. Let us take it for example in two areas. So one is, for example, the identification is as to defining as to how do we define the objective. Now, objective is, for example, in the four P's, I've taken price. Now, how should we price a new product? Now, this is a problem with us. And this problem is, again, among the four P's, the price becomes the problem, and the organization or the researcher intends to find out as to what should be the price, how should we price the new product, for example, the company is launching. So for this, this is how we come, to define objective of any research. The objective for any research, therefore, should be very clear, and here the objective is pertaining to the marketing area, and therefore we hypothetically have selected that, say, for example, as to what should be. Now, price again plays a very, very important role, and therefore I have taken this price again. Now, how do we price a new model? First, we have to understand as to what is a pricing model. So, pricing model comprises as to what does it means to us in marketing area. Pricing model is a microeconomic pricing model, is a model, for example, of the way the prices are set within a market for a given product. The pricing model is based around producing a quantity of goods at which the total revenue minus the total cost is at its greatest. So this is how we work upon. Now, in these have I'll take care in the when we discuss the pricing aspects to it. This is just an hypothetically to understand as to how do we define the objective and how do we work upon that objective. So for this, for example, we all know, and again, for a brief, I'll take it as to what are the various pricing strategies. So the pricing model basically is based upon as to the pricing strategies we have, and if simply put it in words is we have got five major pricing policies. That those are cost plus pricing, that is simply adding cost and make a profit portion. Next is competitive pricing, setting price based on the competition in the market. Third is value-based pricing, setting the price based on how much the customer believes you are selling worth. That means the worth of the product is being decided by the, or the price is decided by the customers. This is, we call it as a value-based pricing. Price skimming is when we set a high price to enter into the market, maybe in a monopoly market, and penetration pricing is setting low price to enter into the competitive world. So these are the various pricing strategies we have. And second aspect is pricing point, like price decided after research. So the objective is as to how do we come to, how do we arrive to a certain price which the customer which is able to pay or will pay for my products. So pricing again plays a very important role in how to fix up an appropriate price or a reasonable price for a particular product is of major concern for any marketing manager. So this is the pricing point will come out at the end of the video as to how does we arrive to point out or to select as to what should be the appropriate price for my product. So after defining the objective, it is the third step is determine the research design. So for this is to as to how do I go about with my research. For this, you will have say the primary data, the secondary data. So I have put it into simplest form. That is, first it is exploratory research to determine what competitors are doing. So this is in a sense, it is the secondary data which is there. You are studying as to what the other competitors of my product, the product I want to launch or I'm going to launch. So my concern is as to how, what price should I fix up for my product. So again, this is a secondary data because you collect the data as to what the competitors are selling the same or the similar products in the market. And second is the descriptive research, sorry, the survey to measure the customer's attitude, expectations towards the product. So this is area of the research is to find out as to what is the customer attitude, which will help in setting up the prices for attitude towards the product of my organization or your organization, and the attitude of the people or the customers toward the competitors. So both are taken into account. So this is how we move upon when we determine as to research design as to how should we go about it. Fourth step is in this is design and prepare survey. So this is a questionnaire designed for conjoint analysis and test survey. So for to collect the data, we ought to, when we go to the people for to collect the primary data. So one of the most popular way of collecting the data pertaining to the problem, and the problem there is price. So the questionnaire is framed taking the price factor majorly to collect the data in relation with the price of the commodity or the product we intend to. So questionnaire designed for conjoint. Now, what is conjoint analysis? It is very important to understand here as to what is conjoint analysis. Now, conjoint analysis is a survey-based statistical technique used in market research that helps determine how people value different attributes like features, functions, and benefits of the products or of the product that make up a single product, or for the product we are going to launch it. So this is the questionnaire is designed in a fashion so that to determine as to what are the various features, the function, and the benefits. Now these are what we call it in management terms as the attributes related with the product. Now, after designing the questionnaire, the test survey here is when we make up a questionnaire, we go for a pilot survey. Pilot surveys, we test is whether the questionnaire is able to gather the intended uh, data from the people or from the respondents, and therefore if the pilot survey gives us the result, if the pilot survey is successful, then we go for the mass or the intended sample we want to cater, we want to the sample we decide upon. The fifth step comes into the process is the sampling and data collection. That is, for example, I take it now with the help of the technology and all, we launched a survey maybe online and get as much or the intended information or the data from the people to whom we intend to sell the products, and that is again a part of say, data collection. After collecting the data, the next step is analyze the data. Now, to analyze the data, we have to understand as to what is the structured data and the regression analysis. So, I have taken the regression analysis, and first we have to understand as to what is the structured data, the data which has come up to us, and how do we use it then. So the structured data is highly organized and easily understood by machine language, means those working with relational databases can input, search, and manipulate structured data relatively quickly. So this is as to how do we put up the data so that as and when it is required, we should be able to refer to it. Regression analysis is a statistical method that allows to examine the relationship between two or more uh, variables of interest, or the variables we intend to measure the relationship between. So, and again, we can have various relationships made so that we analyze it and come to a certain point of the conclusion. After analyzing the data, that is, we prepare the report and presentation. Here I have given, for example, the answer the original business problem. For example, it is recommended that pricing be one time an appropriate price point based on the research is, for example, rupees 20.55 that per piece. So this is the researcher comes with the after analysis analyzing the data, comes up with the solution of the, because for any research process, the ultimate why it is being carried out, so that we should be able to get a solution to the problem. And the problem here is to coming back a little, the problem here is as to what should be the price for my new product. So this is all. On one side it is the process of marketing research, and on the other side I have given and hypothetically, so that we can understand as to how do we come up, how do we arrive to an objective, how do we fix up an objective, because unless and until the objective is clear, the whole process of research process will go haywire. You will not be able to, one will not be able to come up to the right or the correct or an appropriate answer. So defining the objective or the clear, the objective should be very clear in the mind of the researcher. Thank you so much. And I'll be coming with the new video on consumer behavior next. Thank you.